Keir, thank you very much for coming to CST today. You spoke very powerfully about how the fear Jews feel up and down the country, and you spoke about your work that you're doing, the extra 10 million. On a personal level, can I ask, have you had that conversation with your children as to why there are people in this country who want to do them harm because they are Jewish?
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about our children very much because we protect them, but look, we are aware of, our own family and faith and what that means for them and our wider family. So it is a discussion that we do have. Obviously, we've got extended family in Israel, and therefore, when we catch up, we also hear firsthand the psychological impact that has happened since October the 7th, and this sense, over and above the actual horror of what actually happened on October the 7th, which was the horror of horrors, is this, I've called it sort of visceral insecurity that went through individuals, their families and their communities. And it's really important to understand that fear, the emotional impact this has had, as well as the sort of horror of the actual attack. And also, particularly because of Manchester, but it's not just about Manchester and the terrible event there. It is this deeper sense of insecurity here in the United Kingdom that we absolutely have to understand, because we've got to tackle it. We've got to make sure that every single member of our community feels safe, secure, and that this is their country. This is what it is to be the country that is the United Kingdom. And I think having that emotional connection which comes through family certainly has helped me in my appreciation of just what psychological impact this can have on individuals.
And a lot of people up and down the country since October the 7th have commented on the marches that go on and the insecurity and the delegitimisation of Israel, treating it as it's somehow uniquely evil amongst all the nations. Do you think that you yourself have done enough to personally challenge some of the language about Israel, including from some members of your own party?
We have challenged on a number of fronts, and quite rightly too. The first task I had as leader of the Labour Party was to root out anti-Semitism in my party, and that I made that the first priority. I knew that we wouldn't be able to put ourselves before the electorate until we'd dealt with that in our party. I think we need to take the same approach with the country, with the same determination in relation to anti-Semitism. The marches, it's the cumulative effect of the marches, the repeat, and the impact that has on so many people. But also what is said, what is chanted by some, not all, within the marches, I think we need to absolutely address. And that's why I've asked the Home Secretary to carry out a review, and she's already moving on the cumulative impact.
But just push you on that specifically. So do you think, for instance, that the chant for the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, is that an anti-Semitic chant in your view?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And so you've taken, that puts you in a different position to, say, the Mayor of London, who says that that's not, and it's dependent on the context.
Well, I take a strong view on this, and we've dealt with cases in my own party where people have used that expression, and we've taken action against them. So I'm not just saying it to you here today. That is the history, that is the record that I have as leader of my party.
Now that there seems to be a ceasefire now that's been agreed by Donald Trump, you were there at the ceremony on Monday, would you tell people thinking of turning up to protest on Palestine now that the conflict's over, should they just pack it in and go home?
Well, I don't think we can say to anybody that they no longer have the right to freedom of expression and freedom to protest. I do think, on a number of fronts, firstly, on a human level, I had hoped that on the evening of the terrible events in Manchester, there wouldn't be marches and protests, just as an act of human respect and respect for others, and the same for the Saturday. So I was saddened to see those marches going ahead, because I thought that even if people wanted to express their view, perhaps they might take the view that that wasn't the time or the place to do so. I think we need to distinguish between those that have legitimate concerns that they want to express and those that are clearly anti-Semitic. And we need to deal with the latter much more robustly, in my view. And look, the peace plan is a really important step in the right direction, and it's really important for us as the United Kingdom to be part of the implementation and follow-through in relation to that. But I don't suggest for a minute that leads to a diminution of anti-Semitism anywhere in the world, and in this country, we have to follow this up with actions right here.
And final question, if I may, the sort of linking the question of language and de-Legitimization and the conflict in Israel, the official government's position is that Israel has currently not committed a genocide in Gaza. Do you think you've been robust enough in saying that it is not currently your determination that it has done so?
Well, I've been challenged on this, I don't know how many times, and been absolutely clear about it, so I don't think I could be clearer in that respect. But I do have concerns about what's gone on in Gaza, which I've expressed clearly and robustly. But every time I've been challenged, I've been clear in my own view.